All right, ready to dive in. Today we're looking at something you might not think about all that much.
Oh, yeah?
Magnesium.
Yeah.
And we've got some expert insights here that we're going to unpack.
Right.
You might be surprised how important magnesium is
Yeah.
and how likely you might be to be deficient. So
Hmm.
by the end of this deep dive, you'll understand why magnesium matters, how to
Well,
spot if you're running low, and what to consider when you're thinking about supplements.
okay. What's fascinating about magnesium is that it's involved in over 800 bodily functions.
Wow.
Think about that for a second.
800.
800. It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And yet so many people are deficient and don't even realize it.
800. That's more than I can even wrap my head around.
Right?
So what does magnesium actually do in the body? Like, what are some of the key processes it's involved in?
Well, think of magnesium as your body's ultimate multitasker.
Okay.
It plays a role in everything from energy production
Okay.
to muscle function,
Uh-huh.
DNA repair, to bone health. It even helps regulate your heartbeat
Okay.
and blood pressure.
So if I'm hearing you right, this isn't just about, like, avoiding leg cramps.
No,
We're talking about some pretty fundamental processes here.
absolutely. And here's where it gets really interesting and a little tricky.
Okay.
You see, there's this myth that if your blood test comes back with quote-unquote normal
Normal.
magnesium levels,
Right.
you're good to go.
Yeah.
But the reality is those blood tests don't tell the whole story.
Wait, so my doctor could be telling me my magnesium levels are fine,
Yeah.
but I could still be deficient.
Yeah.
How does that even work?
Less than 1% of your body's magnesium is actually circulating in your blood.
Wow.
The vast majority is stored in your bones and muscles.
Oh.
So if you're not getting enough magnesium, your body will actually pull it from those storage sites
Mm.
to maintain those blood levels.
Oh.
It's like robbing Peter to pay Paul.
So my blood work might look normal, but my bones and muscles could be taking a hit behind the scenes.
Exactly.
That's kind of sneaky.
Yeah.
No wonder so many people are deficient without even knowing it.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important to pay attention to the signs and symptoms of magnesium deficiency,
Right.
even if your blood tests look okay.
So what should we be looking out for?
Okay.
What are the red flags that might indicate we need more magnesium?
Well, some of the most common signs include fatigue,
Okay.
muscle cramps, and difficulty sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
You might also experience constipation, headaches,
Yeah.
or even anxiety.
You know, now that you mention it, I have been struggling with sleep lately,
Yeah.
and I definitely get those annoying eye twitches sometimes.
Yeah.
Could those be related to magnesium?
It's certainly possible. Magnesium plays a crucial role in muscle relaxation and nerve function.
Okay.
So it makes sense that a deficiency could contribute to those sorts of symptoms.
This is making me think about all those times I just brushed off those symptoms as just quote-unquote stress or
Right.
getting older.
Yeah.
What if it's actually a magnesium issue? This is already eye-opening and we're just getting started.
Right.
But before we go any further, I'm curious, why is magnesium deficiency so common in the first place?
Yeah.
Is it simply because people aren't eating enough leafy greens?
It's a bit more complicated than that, unfortunately. While diet plays a role,
Yeah.
there are other factors at play as well.
Okay.
One major culprit is modern farming practices.
Okay.
You see, the soil that our food is grown in
Mm-hmm.
has become increasingly depleted of nutrients,
Okay.
including magnesium.
Hold on. So even if I'm eating my spinach,
Yeah.
it might not be as magnesium-packed as it used to be.
That's right on top of that.
Okay.
Many people's diets are low in magnesium-rich foods anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Yeah.
How many servings of leafy greens,
Yeah.
nuts, seeds, and legumes do you actually eat in a day?
Okay. I'll admit probably not enough. So
Right.
we've got depleted soil
Right.
and less than ideal diets.
Right.
Anything else contributing to this magnesium shortage?
You probably won't be surprised to hear that stress plays a role when you're chronically stressed.
Right.
Your body releases hormones like cortisol,
Yeah.
which can actually deplete magnesium levels.
Oh.
It's a vicious cycle. Stress leads to low magnesium,
Yeah.
which can then worsen stress symptoms.
Wow. It's like a double whammy.
Yeah. And we haven't even touched on the potential long-term health implications of being deficient.
Right.
But before we go there, I'm really curious to hear more about those specific symptoms.
Okay.
Can we unpack those a bit more?
Yeah. Let's dive back into that.
Perfect. Because I think many of us have experienced things like fatigue,
Yeah.
muscle cramps, trouble sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
and we might not have made the connection to magnesium.
Yeah. We were just starting to explore some of those common symptoms. Let's dive back into that.
Perfect. Because I think many of us have experienced things like fatigue, muscle cramps, trouble
Mm-hmm.
sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
And we might not have made the connection to magnesium. Exactly. And you know, one of the most frustrating symptoms of magnesium deficiency can be those pesky muscle cramps.
Oh, yeah.
They often strike at night, disrupting your sleep,
Mm-hmm.
leaving you feeling sore.
Right.
If you've ever experienced that sudden sharp pain in your calf or foot, you know what I'm talking
Oh,
about.
tell me about it.
Yeah,
I used to get those awful calf cramps in the middle of the night. So frustrating. And to think it could have been as simple as needing more magnesium?
it's definitely something to consider. Now, beyond muscle cramps,
Right.
magnesium also plays a crucial role in regulating your heartbeat. When you're deficient,
Yeah.
it can actually disrupt those electrical signals that control your heart rhythm, leading
Wow.
to issues like palpitations or even more serious arrhythmias.
Okay, that's definitely getting my attention.
Yeah,
Heart health is nothing to mess around with. So magnesium is essentially helping to keep our tickers ticking smoothly.
precisely. And it doesn't stop there. Remember how we talked about magnesium being involved in over 800 bodily functions?
Hmm.
Well, brain health is a big one.
Ah, yes, brain power. We can always use more of that. What's the magnesium connection there?
Magnesium plays a key role in nerve transmission
Okay.
and communication within the brain. So when levels are low,
Yeah,
it can impact everything from mood and focus
right.
to sleep quality.
Yeah, that makes sense. I know, I definitely don't feel my sharpest when I'm sleep deprived.
Right.
And haven't we all experienced that brain fog when we're feeling stressed or run down?
Absolutely. And you know those nagging headaches and migraines that many people suffer from?
Yes.
Magnesium deficiency can be a major contributor there too.
Really? So, popping a magnesium supplement could be more effective than reaching for the painkillers.
Well, it's certainly worth exploring. Magnesium can help relax blood vessels in the brain and reduce inflammation,
Okay.
both of which can contribute to headaches.
I'm starting to see why this mineral is such a big deal. It's like a missing piece of the puzzle for so many common health
It
complaints.
really is. And here's another piece of the puzzle.
Okay.
Remember how we talked about stress-depleting magnesium?
Right.
Well, it turns out that low magnesium can actually make you more susceptible to stress.
Oh no, it's that vicious cycle again. So if I'm stressed, my magnesium levels drop, which makes me even more stressed. Not a good combo.
Not at all. And this is where understanding the connection between magnesium and your nervous system is so important.
Yeah.
You see, magnesium helps calm the nervous system
Right.
and regulate the release of stress hormones.
Right.
When levels are low, your body's stress response goes into overdrive,
Oh.
making it harder to relax and cope with everyday challenges.
So magnesium is kind of like a chill pill for your nervous system.
You could say that.
I like it.
And when your nervous system is balanced,
Yeah.
it can have a positive ripple effect on your overall well-being, from improving sleep to reducing anxiety and boosting mood.
I'm starting to think we should all be taking magnesium supplements. But before we jump to conclusions, I want to hear more about those long-term health risks you mentioned earlier. We've touched on heart health and brain health, but what else should we be aware of?
That's a great question. One area that's getting a lot of attention these days is the link between magnesium deficiency and metabolic health.
Okay.
Research suggests that low magnesium levels may increase your risk of developing insulin resistance,
Okay.
which is a precursor to type 2 diabetes.
So this isn't just about feeling our best in the short term. We're
Right.
talking about potentially preventing serious chronic diseases down the road.
Exactly. And the connection to metabolic health makes sense when you consider that magnesium plays a role in how our cells use glucose for energy.
Uh-huh.
When cells become resistant to insulin,
Right.
they can't properly absorb glucose,
Yeah.
leading to elevated blood sugar levels.
Right.
And that's where magnesium comes in. It can actually enhance insulin sensitivity and help those cells utilize glucose more efficiently.
This is all starting to make me wonder if widespread magnesium deficiency could be a contributing factor to the rise in chronic diseases we're seeing today. It's kind of like a hidden epidemic.
That's a thought-provoking observation, and it's definitely something researchers are exploring. But before we get ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
I think it's time to shift gears and talk about how we can actually address this potential deficiency. Let's dive into the world of magnesium supplementation and explore the different options available.
Okay, let's do it. I'm ready to learn how to boost my magnesium levels and reap all those amazing benefits we've been talking about. Welcome back. I don't know about you, but my mind is officially blown. Magnesium is officially my new favorite mineral. Who knew it was involved in so much?
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? And we've only just scratched the surface.
Right.
But knowing all of this, the big question is, what can we actually do about it?
Exactly. Let's talk solutions. We touched on supplementation before, but can you walk us through the different types of magnesium supplements?
Yeah,
Because I know when I walk down that aisle at the health food store, I'm completely overwhelmed. There are so many options.
I hear you. It can definitely be confusing.
Uh-huh.
But understanding the different types of magnesium can help you make an informed choice.
Right.
So let's break it down. First, you've got the inorganic forms of magnesium,
Okay.
like magnesium oxide.
Okay.
These are generally less absorbable
Okay.
and often used for their laxative effect, so they can be helpful for constipation.
So if I'm looking for overall health benefits beyond just, keeping things moving,
Right.
magnesium oxide probably isn't the best choice.
Right. If you're looking for more systemic benefits, like supporting heart health,
Right.
brain function, or energy levels, you'll want to opt for one of the organic forms.
Okay.
These are better absorbed and utilized by the body. Some of the most common ones you'll see are magnesium glycinate,
Okay.
citrate, and malate.
Okay. Those are starting to ring a bell. I've seen those on labels before.
Yeah.
But how do I know which one is right for me? Is there a best form of magnesium?
That's where things get a little tricky because it really depends on your individual needs
Mm-hmm.
and what you're hoping to address.
Right.
For example, magnesium glycinate is known for being gentle on the stomach and can be helpful for promoting relaxation and sleep.
Mm.
Magnesium citrate, on the other hand, is often recommended for energy production and muscle function.
So it's a bit of a choose-your-own-adventure situation.
Yeah.
Are there any other types of magnesium we should know about?
There are also a few specialized forms of magnesium that have gained popularity in recent years. One that's particularly interesting is magnesium threonate.
Okay.
It's specifically designed to cross the blood-brain barrier,
Wow.
meaning it can effectively reach the brain
Okay.
and potentially offer benefits for cognitive function and memory.
So if you're looking to boost your brain power, magnesium threonate might be the way to go.
It's certainly an option to consider, especially if you're concerned about age-related cognitive decline,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're just looking for an extra mental edge.
Okay, this is all super helpful, but I have to ask, what about dosage? How much magnesium do we actually need?
That's a great question, and it's one that doesn't have a one-size-fits-all answer. The recommended daily intake of magnesium varies depending on your age, gender, and individual needs.
So I can't just grab any bottle off the shelf and assume it's the right dose for me?
Probably not, and this is where working with a healthcare professional can be invaluable.
Right.
They can assess your individual needs, consider any potential interactions with medications you're taking,
Mm,
and help you determine the appropriate dosage for you.
makes sense. Personalized guidance is always the best approach. But just to give us a general idea,
Yeah.
what's a typical dosage range for magnesium supplementation?
A good starting point for many adults is around 200 to 400 milligrams of elemental magnesium per day.
Okay.
But again, this can vary. So it's always best to consult with your healthcare provider to determine the optimal dose for you.
Got it. And are there any risks or side effects we should be aware of? Because even though magnesium seems like this amazing wonder mineral,
Yeah.
I know too much of anything can be a bad thing.
You're absolutely right. Magnesium is generally safe for most people.
Okay, good.
But there are a few things to keep in mind. The most common side effect is digestive upset, like diarrhea or loose stools.
Yeah.
This is more likely to happen if you take a high dose of magnesium, especially in the form of magnesium oxide.
So start low and go slow. Good advice for any supplement, really.
Exactly. And as with any supplement, it's important to talk to your doctor if you have any pre-existing health conditions,
Right.
or if you're taking any medications, just to make sure there are no potential interactions.
Solid advice.
Yeah.
And now I have to ask, are there any other ways to boost magnesium levels besides supplements? What about food?
Absolutely. Remember food first. And luckily, there are plenty of delicious magnesium-rich foods out there.
Okay.
Leafy green vegetables like spinach,
Yes.
kale, and Swiss chard are great sources, as are almonds, cashews, black beans, avocado, and even dark chocolate.
Okay, now you're speaking my language. Dark chocolate, I can definitely get on board with that.
Right.
So a combination of diet and supplements is ideal.
Exactly. And don't forget about stress management.
Yep.
We talked about how chronic stress can deplete magnesium. So finding healthy ways to manage stress, whether it's yoga meditation, spending time in nature, or just taking some time for yourself, can help support healthy magnesium levels.
This has been such an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about this often overlooked mineral.
Me too. It's amazing how such a tiny nutrient can have such a profound impact on our health.
It really is. So to wrap things up for our listeners, can we recap the key takeaways?
Absolutely. First and foremost, magnesium is essential for a wide range of bodily functions, from energy production to heart health to brain function.
And deficiency is more common than we might think, thanks to factors like depleted soil, poor diet, and chronic stress.
If you're experiencing symptoms like fatigue, muscle cramps, sleep problems, or headaches, low magnesium could be a contributing factor.
Supplementation can be helpful, but it's important to choose the right form of magnesium and dosage for your individual needs.
And don't forget to focus on incorporating magnesium-rich foods into your diet and finding healthy ways to manage stress.
This has been an eye-opening exploration into the world of magnesium. I encourage all of our listeners to start paying closer attention to their magnesium intake and see how it impacts their overall well-being. You might be surprised at the difference it makes.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us on this magnesium deep dive.
And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.